is here. You should be able to start in a moment. Okay, I think we officially have our quorum. The first item on the agenda today was actually to introduce the committee members again. However, our newest committee member wasn't able to join tonight. So you just have two returning committee members, myself and Commissioner Boots. So I don't think we have to do in-depth introductions, and we can postpone that to the next round next month. So we have three items on the agenda tonight. First is an update from Jubilee Jumpstart on their work under the grant they received last year. And then we'll also hear from another grantee, Adams Morgan Day, on their grant. These are just updates to have a chance to hear about all the great work that these groups have done and that the ANC was very happy to support. And then we'll have a presentation from DC Water on the lead-free DC initiative. So I think we can welcome our representative from Jubilee Jumpstart to share some information on everything you've been up to, and we're excited to hear more.
Hi, you can hear me? Yes. Hi. Yes. Great. I'm Dee Dee Parker-Wright. I'm the Executive Director of Jubilee Jumpstart. Happy New Year. I'm going to keep saying it till it's true. So Happy New Year. It's been a rough January. I don't know, at least for people under 5. Yeah. Just as a totally general thumbnail sketch introduction, we are an early childhood education provider located on Ontario Road in the ground floor of a Jubilee housing apartment building. We serve 48 children and their families, primarily low-income families, and a number of other community members with various distributions like diapers and groceries. So what our grant was, thank you very, very much, was for $4,000 to really improve and increase and expand our dual language openness and availability for, in particular, all the grown-ups. We say real clearly we're a dual language program for our children, and that is true in our classrooms. We've got about 50% of our staff are native Spanish speakers, but we realized through some work with a change committee focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion that we were not hitting the mark for providing Spanish translation for all of our grown-ups, our parents, and our staff, most specifically too. So what you made possible for us is, number one, the Zoom webinar function, which has made our parent meetings, our staff meetings, and our trainings so much just easier to manage, because then, in a totally related next step, also funded really high quality translation services from a professional group of interpreters. And so we've been able to have them play the Spanish station while any kind of a communication is going on. And I'll tell you, the real benefit of that is that we get to skip. How will that happen? Can that happen? What's going to happen? We've prepaid for it, and they know, and they've got a schedule of our staff meetings, our parent meetings, and so it's just always there, ready to go. And that just adds to the dignity and the kind of like normalcy of course we're going to have language services available for our whole community. So that is that. And the last element was that we frequently ask our staff to provide interpretation for their colleagues, for parents, for people who come visit us from the community, and it was not feeling right to not compensate them for that completely extra service. And so what we have established is that anytime a staff person provides any significant amount of translation, you know, up to about an hour, that we provide them with a $25 Visa gift card. And I have to tell you, that is like, has helped, like just made a whole difference. Number one, our staff just feels seen and appreciated. But the other thing is that they are stretching themselves and really connecting in a different way, because they're a little more motivated. And then they feel a little more connected to their coworker, or they just kind of engage with a parent in a different way, knowing that they are kind of a vital part of us meeting our mission. And so, like with all things with financial resources, is once the worry of like, is it there? And like, is it available? Like when you take that away, then just the good stuff can happen. And it has really helped us achieve a goal of just living into our mission more deeply and kind of transparently. So that's my main update. I'm happy to answer any questions about it.
Yeah, that all sounds fantastic. I really liked what you said about how it's sort of changed the paradigm from, oh, well, will we be able to provide the service, to it's just embedded in how we operate. That sounds wonderful. I don't have any questions. I would love to hear if you have any events or upcoming opportunities for the community to engage, but I wonder if I'll pause to see if Commissioner Boots has any questions, or any attendees have any questions. A great opportunity to learn more about the work you do too.
I would love to hear about the upcoming events as well. I just really want to say this is so heartwarming, and really it's great to see the impact it's made, and just that it makes people's lives easier. And right now, any little bit to make people's lives easier, I'm glad we were able to help. So this is just, thank you so much for the update.
Yeah. Wow, that's a really great thing to say. That is true every month. And when I say it's just been a really hard month, I think you would understand what that is. But it has, you know, I mean, that first week of January, I feel like it was like, could that count for the month? That was really hard. And so truly, when something is just a little easier, it gives you a little cushion for the new hard stuff. So, and it really has, you know, when you're kind of working and living in a little more integrity, it just feels better. It feels more like what we're supposed to be. I do want to tell you about an upcoming event. Thank you so much for asking. We have 2 literacy events each year. I mean, we're kind of always about literacy, but we have 2 months that we really emphasize that. One is March, and we march into reading. And so it's a month-long event that has a handful of elements to it. But the easiest, most accessible part is that we have Jumpstar readers who zoom in from all over the community, all over the country, actually. And so we really invite anybody who wants to read with a group of kids from the comfort of wherever they're spending their morning. So I'd love to, what I could do is send that info along to you all. We tend to go big with it at the beginning of February to get ready for March. And so that's March. Our other one, just because you're wondering, I know, is in October, and it's Fall in Love with Books. But we don't need to talk about that right now. Just one super exciting part that I'll also invite you to is that Lawrence from Ace Hardware built us a little free library that Sitar Art Center teens are currently decorating. And so we're hoping to kick off March into Reading by installing our own little free library in front of the center. So I think that might turn into a little event if the weather cooperates. So, and we will have that right in front of our center and we will monitor it closely to keep it to just children's books. So anyway, so we're excited to have a little bit of a ribbon cutting on that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And I'm sure our chair, Fiona Klump, is on the call, might want to come down for that. And she just raised her hand, actually.
Cool.
Oh, sorry. Well, I think it all sounds great. And sorry, thank you, Commissioner Carano. I did not mean to raise my hand, but it all sounds fantastic. Thank you.
There are new things on Zoom that a lot of us have, I've had other people doing things they don't mean to on the Zoom. I think it's, yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Please do share information so we can pass it along to residents. And if you want, please also feel free to come back to the full ANC meeting next week for public announcements. You get 2 minutes at the start if you want to share more about the event with the community too.
Wow, good idea. Thank you. I may do that. Does that happen in person? No. That happens on Zoom, correct?
It's on Zoom, yeah.
Easy peasy. Okay, no more long nights at Mary Center. Okay.
Not for now. Yeah, not for now.
Very fine. Okay. Well, I thank you all so much for your support in all the ways. It really matters. The last thing we need is to feel alone and disconnected from each other. And so this is a really beautiful, concrete way that we can feel the community's support.
Yes, and thank you for all the work you do.
Oh.
We're glad we were able to be a small part of it.
Oh, thank you. All right, y'all have a good night. Thank you.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.
So our next grant presentation is going to be from Adams Morgan Day. If we can elevate Andrew to be a panelist. I'd love to hear similarly any updates, anything you're keen to share from a bit looking back a bit now from Adams Morgan Day or from the more recent mural and plaque installation. Yeah, I'd love to hear all about it.
Cool. Yeah, so just to give a little bit of context, 2 years ago at Adams Morgan Day, we wanted to incorporate an element of celebrating our neighborhood's like culture and history. So we got in touch with a local muralist, Frida Larios, who is an adjunct professor at UDC, and does like a lot of great mural work, especially at if you look down at El Tamarindo, she has a mural down there on that wall. So we wanted to have a mural that celebrated the diverse history of our neighborhood. So Frida and some of her colleagues designed a mural. We started that in 2020, but we needed a little bit of help to get that over the line. Specifically, we needed help getting a scissor lift at Murray Reed Elementary School so that the mural could extend above. I think it's like a 13 or 14 foot tall mural. So we needed to get a scissor lift over there and additional supplies, and then also any additional leftover from the grant went to Frida and her team, which normally they would give, normally they would charge about like $10,000 for just like the labor for a mural of this size and scope, but they were, willing to accept much less than that for this community project. And then there was, and someone had an idea to have a plaque installed there to commemorate the mural that is in both English and Spanish, to kind of talk about the origins of the plaque and the meaning behind everything that's going on in the mural. So that was successfully installed at the beginning of January. The mural was completed in November, and there was a dedication ceremony that I think, I'm not sure if anyone on the ANC was able to attend, but El Tamarindo had a nice little dedication ceremony earlier in December. So those are, with the $4,000, we were able to successfully complete all those goals. We had a couple setbacks here and there. We had to, there were some sicknesses and illnesses and some deaths with the people that were working on the mural. So we had to extend the lift rental, which was pretty expensive, but thanks to the generous grant, we were able to get enough time on that and also have enough money left over to help pay the muralists for their time and efforts. So that is it. The project is successfully wrapped up, and we're really, really happy to have the support of the ANC and the neighborhood in our endeavors for Adams Morgan Day.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, and if you haven't had a chance to see the mural, it's really cool. So I would strongly recommend everyone stopping by. I similarly don't have any questions. Thanks so much for giving us the opportunity to participate in a small way in helping make part of the neighborhood a little more beautiful. And let us know when you're ready to plan something else next year. We're in a new calendar year, so we make grants on a calendar year basis. So keep us in mind for the next Adams Swangan Day. Commissioner Boots, any questions or comments?
Just to add, no, I think it's a great addition to the neighborhood. I love how it pops from 18th Street, and you can kind of see it right from there. And I'm really happy to have had that small part and been able to see it come to fruition. It's always something when you see something on paper and then you get to finally see it in real life. Just kind of seeing that whole transition was really great. So thank you for letting us be part of it.
Any other questions or comments from other commissioners on the line? Any attendees have questions? You can raise your hand and I'll see it. Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Klum. I'm sure you raised your hand on purpose that time. Yeah,
I did. Yes, I just wanted to say hi to Andrew, and I just wanted to say that I'm really glad that the mural was finished. It looks fantastic, and thanks for all your hard work on that.
Thanks, Fiona.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for making the time to join us today, Andrew and Chair. And yeah, keep us posted on what the rest of the year brings.
For sure. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, so the third item on our agenda is a presentation from DC Water. And I think I actually should be able to elevate our presenter. Yes.
Okay, so hi, Commissioner. This is Emmanuel, DC Water. Maureen Schmeling actually is going to do the presentation. She's our Director of Water Quality and Technology.
So I am promoting her as well.
Okay.
She should get a notification in a moment. Thank you both for making the time to join us tonight. Really interested to learn more about this program. So appreciate you taking the time to share.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, and you should be able to project. So let me know if you have any tech questions or challenges, but the floor is yours. We're eager to learn more.
Okay, I think she's got it.
Okay, hello. This is Maureen Schmeling. Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
All right, there we go. I love when I get the full screen on the PowerPoint. Okay, thanks for having us. I'm the Director for Water Quality and Technology, and I'm going to talk to you this evening about our lead-free DC program that we started. So our plan is to eliminate all lead service lines by 2030. It's an aggressive, ambitious plan, but we are starting to tackle it already. Our contact information is right there. And the key point for your ANC, 1C, I think it is, we have one block selected for this fiscal year. It's the 2700 block of Ontario Road. We'll be doing this by block service line replacement, in which everybody can get their lead service lines replaced for free. And we just need everybody to sign up. So this presentation, I'll talk about water service lines, give you background on your water service line, the pipe materials that make up water service lines, and the replacement opportunities for those old service lines. So in the district, the homeowner owns the entire service line. Most people don't realize that, but when the developer builds the house, they're the ones that install the service line. So they choose the pipe material and they install it. It has to meet DCRA code, but they're the ones who install it. Back in the early 80s, I think it was, the district passed a law that authorized the water authority to maintain the portion that's in public space. So I think they were having a lot of leaks at the time. They said, well, at least water authority, you take care of what's in public space. So we have taken that to mean that we can replace lead pipes and galvanized iron pipes in public space. We use ratepayer funds for that, but we cannot do that on the private side. Property owners have to consent, and also, until recently, property owners had to pay for it, but now the district passed a new law, and we're so appreciative of their support to replacing lead service lines. The district is covering the cost for the private side replacements when DC Water is doing work. So when we're doing our water main replacements on a block, or we're coming in this new program, the by block replacement, like on your Ontario Road block, then the homeowners can participate for free. And it's paid for by the district. So where are all these lead service lines? We have a lot, unfortunately, still to get rid of. On the left is the display of where the full lead service lines are mostly located. So you can see a lot still in that center area, up North Capitol and whatnot. And we still have a lot of clusters where we have full lead service lines. And then on the right is the map where we have the lead service lines where it's left on the private side only. And that's where all those are located. So up until a couple of years ago, when DC Water did work and we tried to get people to participate in the service line replacement and replace the private side, the homeowner had to pay for the cost of that pipe replacement. So we didn't get very good participation in our programs, and it left these service lines, the partial lead service lines in the ground. And we want to get rid of those too. And then we also have, you can see in this table in the middle, unknown. And that's where we don't have any material. We don't have any information about the pipe material. So many homes, we just never got any information on those, or the records were inaccurate. So we still have to resolve those. At this point, we estimate half of those are probably lead. So now to find out about your service line, we have our interactive map on our website. There's our website address. And you can type in your address and it'll bring you to your block. And then when you hit the little circle on the home, that pop-up box will show up. And then it'll give the information about the pipe material and a little bit about the information. So for this one, our information is what we call historic in terms of its older data that we just have had, maybe from old tap cards or whatnot. And the information was that it's copper. But this data has not been completely accurate. So we always recommend people assess further for confirmation. So it's like, based on the history, it's copper, but we have found these wrong. We have found people actually have lead lines when it says copper. So, we want to make sure people are also taking extra steps in which we have information about pipe material. On this next slide here, the different types of pipe material. So if you can find where your water service line enters your home. Usually it's on the street side. It'll come through. If you can see where it comes through the floor or the wall, the foundation, and it's not like a finished wall, finished basement, that's the service line. That's the pipe material, the service line coming through. So it's what I call a piece of the puzzle. Because sometimes if you see a lead pipe, then, well, that's it. You've got lead. And now we know, and now we get rid of it. And on the left, that's lead pipe. It has that classic bulb formation right before the first connection. It's also kind of a thicker pipe, gray bends. In the middle, we have galvanized iron. We want to get rid of these also. They're very corroded on the inside, and they can cause low pressure problems, discolored water, but also if there ever was a lead water service line upstream of it, before it, that lead could have redeposited back on these galvanized iron pipes. So those are really good to get rid of also. With iron, the easiest way to tell is the magnet sticks to it. So you test the pipe, not the fitting, but stick a magnet to the pipe. If it sticks, you get galvanized iron. Then on the next one over with, that's a copper pipe. The far right's brass, which is alloy of copper. And on both those, if you see green on the outside, that's the corrosion. That's copper corrosion. It's oxidizing with the air, and it forms that green product. So if you see green, that's indicating copper. And the difference with brass and copper is brass also has threads, whereas copper is just joined with a solder. So now you found out you have a lead service line. How do we replace it? We have different programs that are available in which you can get some assistance to replace the lead pipe. The first one is if we're coming and doing work, we're doing a water main replacement project on the street, or there's an emergency repair. This is when the district will pay for that private side. So you can get the whole thing replaced and you don't have to pay anything. The next program, our lead partial replacement assistance program, that is for those homes where there's just lead left on the private side. It's often kind of expensive for you to call a plumber yourself, get the plumber out there, the plumber does the work. So the district provides funds to help for that. They'll provide, it's income based. So for low income, they'll pay up to 100%. But for most people, they'll pay up to 50% up to $2,500. So it helps a lot. That $2,500 really helps cover a lot of those costs. And then you're working directly with the plumber to get the work done. And it's administered through DOEE. So you actually apply through the DOE website, and then you work with DC Water and the plumber to get it done. And then the last one on this page is our voluntary full replacement program. And that's if you have a full lead service line, you want to get it replaced. We're not coming to the block anytime soon. The homeowner would pay for the private side, and DC Water covers the cost of the public side and then all the mobilization and permit and fees and whatnot. And then lastly is our exciting new project, is our buy block project. That'll really accelerate getting rid of these lead service lines. So we'll come to a block, and first we'll dig these test pits, what we call these holes, to see what type of pipe material there are. And then when we replace the pipe, we don't dig up the whole yard. We dig a hole where the water meter is, and then one right before the house, and we tunnel in between those holes. So it's what we call trenchless technology. But you tunnel in between and pull the old lead service line out and pull in the new copper pipe. And then they'll pull it into the house up to the first fitting. So, and then after they're all done, they backfill, and then they'll plant the grass, and they restore the yard they do a pretty good job restoring the yard. And they'll pop back in plants they took out. For people who really love their plants and take pride and care of their plants, they may want to dig them up themselves to take care of that. There's a lot of people that are very concerned about their plants. So, but our contractors do a really good job of restoration. We don't get many complaints. So how are we selecting these blocks? We have a model where we basically give a score to each block, and it's based on these factors down here on the left in that table. And one of the new factors we brought into this project is the social equity. So we're looking at areas that are the underserved areas and giving them a higher score to try and get make sure that they're taken care of at a higher priority. And also we look at the vulnerable populations where the children are, daycare centers also. And then we also score a block based on the number of lead service lines they have, and also water quality, and main breaks will factor in there too. And that's the presentation. So just closing with, this is a very ambitious project, and we cannot do it on our own. If it's on our own, we won't get the private sides done, which means we won't do partials. So we're not going to get these lead service lines done. So we really need to work together with everybody. We're asking you all with the ANCs to really help, and just all the communication we can do around the importance to get these lead service lines out and done with. And the last, there's our contact information.
Thank you so much, Maureen. That was incredibly informative. I guess my first question would be, we're talking about homes. Do we literally mean only single family homes? Are there also apartment buildings, condo buildings that this applies to?
So lead service lines, because lead, it's a very thick, heavy material. The largest size we ever saw was a 2-inch lead line. So, and those are pretty rare, but we do see 1.5 inches, and there are inches out there. So some condos can have old lead service lines because they could be served by a 1.5 inch. We've even seen old condo buildings that are served by a 1-inch line, and I have no idea how those people all get water. But yes, so we do see it with some of the older buildings that maybe there's like 6, 8 units, and then the larger units, once in a while, will have the larger line of 1.5 inch and 2-inch lead service line. But the newer ones, and definitely big condos, really big apartment buildings, those won't have a lead service line because the service line is too big. And it'll note that on our map. That's one of our criteria. We say service lines. It's not lead based on service line size.
Okay, that's helpful. And when DC Water is doing work on a block or there's an emergency and they're doing work, is there any type of notification that's given to residents to know that this opportunity is coming up?
Yes, so we do several different touches throughout the process. We start with a mailer that gives all the information, trying to get people to sign up. And then Manuel can talk more about that because he does some of it. But we also go door to door, trying to talk to people about the project and getting them to sign up. And we do emails and phone calls. Just every contact point we have, we try it all. But we will do that initial mailer. We try to do it 4 months in advance. So your block will be getting notified in the next couple of months, I think. They're in the last lot to go.
Okay, yeah, because my next question was going to be what percentage of the Ontario block had responded so far.
Yeah, so we'll Emmanuel will be reaching out to you again when we get closer to coming to that block.
Yeah, to piggyback on what Maureen said, we will definitely we'll be reaching back out. We even, as part of this program, prepare to, once we've done all of the door knocking, ANC meetings, and other sort of touch points, we then actually come back and we can convey to you that, all of our efforts, we've made this kind of progress. Is there anything you recommend that we can reach the rest? And that we'll have a document for you. It actually will have the customers and their addresses in your various ANC areas. But yeah, so we'll come back to you, definitely. We want to get as many to sign up as possible.
Awesome. That's good to know. Commissioner Butzer, do you have any questions before we move to other commissioners?
I don't have any questions, but I'm looking forward to just continuing to engage with you and for updates, especially when we start reaching out to the neighborhood.
All right. Well, thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we do have a few other commissioners and some residents on the line, so I just want to make sure they have a chance to raise their hand if they had any questions. And if I don't see any up next minute, we'll let you go. I did want to ask, I noticed with the support programs, the last one was there a reason the homeowner has to pay 100% in that scenario?
Yeah, they're paying for the private side. The district law does not allow DC Water to use ratepayer funds for work on private property. So we have to have the district pay for it. And the district started the initiative by saying, okay, we'll pay for it when you're initiating work. Because that's when we're trying to encourage it all be funneled through that way, because it's more cost efficient also than just doing these one-offs as people call in. So those are the reasons why the homeowner has to pay. But also, and I think in your area, the property line is often at the face of the house. So, you know, the inner district area, it's the property line's right up against the house. So the cost is about $1,000 for them. It's just for what we call breakthrough into the home. So it's actually, for many homes, it's actually cheaper to do the full service line replacement than go through the LPREP program. Because they have they don't have that much to pay for on the outside.
That's good. Yeah, that's helpful to know. That puts it in context. Well, thank you very much for presenting, for answering my questions, and for sharing more about this upcoming opportunity in the neighborhood. We'll definitely want to amplify that. Please let us know if we can help amplify other opportunities as they come up to help get closer to the 2030 goal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So that's it for our agenda for the evening. Thanks everyone for joining.